Hello everyone, welcome to our sports news channel. Here you are always well informed. I ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Leave your like and thank you. When James Harden exercised his player option for the 2023-24 season on June 29, it came with a caveat, one that has become familiar for the 10-time All-Star during the most recent stage of his career, a trade request. Harden expected the Philadelphia 76ers to trade him this offseason, the third time he has requested a trade since January 2021, when he left the Houston Rockets. And when Harden focuses on finding a new team, he does not sit idly by in the interim. The beginning of another Harden trade saga has started to play out during the past month. Harden voiced his displeasure about still being a member of the Sixers during a recent appearance in China, calling out Philadelphia's president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of, Harden said during an Adidas media event in China. Let me say that again, Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. The NBA fined Harden $100,000 for that statement, which has been challenged by the National Basketball Players Association, which announced last week that it intends to file a grievance against the league. Yet, Harden's unhappiness in Philadelphia has followed a similar pattern to his previous stops around the league. Harden has already been traded 3 times in his career and is seeking a fourth, so here's a look back at his trade history and the factors that got him out of town. Houston Rockets, 2012 to 2021. Coincidentally enough, the Harden era in Houston began with a trade. Harden was named 6th Man of the Year in 2011-12, helping the Oklahoma City Thunder reach the NBA Finals. Entering the final year of his contract, he was eligible to sign an extension. The Thunder offered him a 4-year, $55.5 million deal, less than the max he was eligible for. Not willing to take that deal, Harden was traded to Houston, where Morey, then Houston's general manager, believed Harden had the tools of a future superstar. To back up his belief, Morey signed Harden to a 5-year, $80 million extension days after completing the trade. Harden delivered on that deal, racking up All-Star appearances, 3 scoring titles and the 2017-18 Most Valuable Player award while the Rockets became perennial contenders, never missing the playoffs during his first 8 seasons with the team. Things went south, however, once the relationship between Harden and Chris Paul began to deteriorate after their run to the 2018 Western Conference Finals. After the following season, Harden insisted the organization trade for Russell Westbrook, sources told ESPN's Tim McMahon, saying he'd demand a trade if the Rockets didn't find a way to do so. But their lone season together ended with an early playoff exit, and both stars no longer wanted to play together. After 8 years, Harden had started to feel doubts about his future in Houston. His split with Westbrook before the 2020-21 season effectively marked the end of his tenure, and Morey stepped down from his position on October 15, 2020. By November, Harden was focused on forcing his way to Brooklyn. Harden delayed his arrival to training camp for a week, hanging out instead with rapper Lil Baby in Las Vegas. Days before the team's season opener, Harden violated the league's health and safety protocols by attending a private indoor party, which resulted in a $50,000 fine by the NBA. Yet, he played in the Rockets' season opener and dropped 44 points. He put up at least 30 points in his next 2 games before he was a late scratch in his 4th game because of an ankle injury. After months of trade speculation and reports about his unhappiness, Harden's production during his final 5 games in Houston plummeted, 17.4 points on 37.8% shooting while the Rockets dropped 4 of 5 games. After their loss on January 12, Harden told reporters the Rockets were just not good enough. It was his final game with the team. He was traded 1 day later to the Brooklyn Nets in a 4-team trade to set up a potential super team featuring Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Brooklyn Nets, 2021 to 2022. Harden's tenure with the Nets is one of the NBA's biggest what-ifs in recent memory. The Nets traded away a pair of promising young players in Jarrett Allen and Caris LeVert, as well as 4 first-round picks and 3 picked swaps to acquire Harden and pair him with Durant and Irving to form a title contender in the East. However, both Durant and Harden had their availability limited by injuries. Harden played 36 games with the Nets the first season after the trade, missing 21 of the final 24 regular season games because of a strained hamstring. He returned for Brooklyn's first-round win over the Celtics but re-injured the hamstring in Game 1 of the second round, causing him to miss 3 games. Harden clearly wasn't himself when he returned for the final 3 games of the 7-game loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Nets GM Sean Marks spoke of a plan to ink Durant, Harden and Irving to contract extensions in the summer of 2021, but only Durant signed on. The next season, Irving's decision not to take the COVID-19 vaccine made him ineligible to play in New York City and limited his availability during the 2021-22 season. The trio ended up playing just 16 games together across 2 seasons. Just 13 months following his trade request from the Rockets, Harden was seeking another trade near the deadline in February 2022. He resisted making a formal request out of fear of public backlash for asking out once again, sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, but he wanted a trade to Philadelphia to reunite with Morey. Harden missed his final 4 games with Brooklyn leading up to the deadline because of a hamstring injury before the Sixers, eager to move on from Ben Simmons and their own months-long saga, made the deal to swap guards on February 10, 2022.